Alright, we're live. Welcome to Awakening Warriors. We talk about life, love, lessons, and learning. Happy New Year! We fucking made it to 2023. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
First year of the new year.
First year of the new year?
First day of the new year. First podcast in our new room, which I feel like is echoey, but we'll get it together.
Yeah, the carpet really helps. It was a lot more echoey before, but I'm pretty sure you can do like some noise dampening shit. But it's not quite finished yet, but it's definitely on its way there. I still gotta hang. It's like a library, meditation, podcast space. So just gotta get the racks up for the books and the podcast shit set up. So we figured, well, it's fucking down or basically ready to go. So figured we'd fucking start moving it shit down here so we can get it out of our office. So you probably get plants too.
Because we do have a window.
Yeah, she's gonna fucking be annoying.
She'll be alright. She'll lay down.
Anyways, Happy New Year, you guys. It's gonna be a good one. So I still don't even have. Get the fuck away from me. I still have to figure out some more, like what I really want to get out of this year and accomplish. So, yeah. But anyways, we are talking today about masculinity and as a whole, and probably touch on feminine energy as well. But I feel like masculine energy is like a really hot topic right now as far as society goes, and I think it's a misunderstood topic because of just a lot of incorrect ideologies. What's your thoughts on toxic masculinity being a woman?
So we're talking toxic specifically?
Yeah, let's start with toxic. Like, define toxic sense.
So to me, when I think of toxic masculinity, I think of almost like abusive power kind of situation on one end, but then on the other end, like a I don't know, unknowing is the word that I'm thinking of, but like not knowing how to show up in a masculine way at all, I guess, could also be considered like toxic masculinity.
That's my biggest thought, like, as far as definition of toxic masculinity. I think society points to toxic masculinity as basically like the hoorah alpha male, beating his chest type of thing. But in my personal opinion, toxic masculinity is where men aren't being men. Like, there's limited masculinity in their energy. So, they're not the protectors, they're not betas, or they're not alphas. And I don't really want to get hung up on the alpha thing because I think, that's a total bullshit deal too. But, like, for instance, raping women and, doing that type of shit, like, typically, like, you don't need to rape a woman if you're plentiful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like if you're showing up in your true, authentic masculinity.
Yeah, women are just going to naturally want to fuck you.
Well, yeah, and you have no need to go and take...
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And we've talked about this before, but I think what we're getting at as far as, like, masculinity, we're not necessarily talking about... Well, I guess, I don't know. Let me know. But about, like, the energies. Because there's feminine and masculine energy, which I think we've touched on just a little bit, that, like, we all have that, but we're thinking more, like... men in society. Yeah,
for sure. And men can have feminine energy too. I know numerous guys that AJ comes to mind. He's very feminine. But
like just show up more from that place.
Yeah, for sure. His energy is naturally feminine. I don't know if you'd say flamboyant or not, but I feel like his energy is feminine, but it seems to me like he holds the masculine role very well, you know. I know I don't obviously know a ton about their relationship, but I know he had mentioned when we talked to him about how she's more of like the go-getter, you know, type of, you know, fire in the relationship and shit too. So, but I think he does well. So I just wanted to make it clear, like, just because you're a dude doesn't mean you won't have feminine characteristics, I guess. You know what I mean? As far as your energy.
Yeah, I think I was just, like, for clarification purposes, because toxic masculinity, like you said, it's like a buzzword right now.
Oh, for sure.
And people stick it to a lot of things, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist, because it absolutely does. Like, that's why it's a thing, because it does happen. But I do think it's buzzy.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what they do. That's what fucking mainstream media, our fucking slave owners do to us. They just fucking put all these little buzzwords in our ears, and then we're all upset about racism. We're all upset. Stop fucking talking about it, and be a lot less, you know, prominent for certain topics. Like, some things you do have to talk about to overcome. But I think because it's thrown in our face so much, you know, like, then it becomes a lot more of a thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, like, for as far as this topic goes, this came up. You picked the topic because you're like, oh, this is what there was a lot of this in our space.
Yeah.
In terms of, and I mean, it really could have been both, like, and when I say abuse of power, I think that's where I think about, like, the taking and the raping and the beating and, like, those types of things. Like, that's obviously very toxic.
Yeah. And as a male, like, I'm not gonna lie and fucking say, like that doesn't get me riled up, like, thinking about it. Like, and that's gonna fucking piss a lot of people off. Like, you know it. Like, I'm like, ugh. But, like, deep down I know that, you know, like, that can't happen.
Well, right. If there's, like, these urges to, and it...
rape and pillage and blah, 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 you know, like, conquer, essentially.
Yes.
You know?
But it doesn't mean that you act on it. And that's where that, like, healthy masculinity comes in, because it's like, okay, I have, and anybody, I mean, women too, like, have the ability to hurt people in those ways, but obviously we see it much more from the males. But having that ability or power, capacity, and not acting on it, obviously. Yeah,
Jordan Peterson talks about being a dangerous man, you know. Have you ever seen that video?
I don't know if I've seen it, but I've definitely heard of it.
Yeah.
Or heard,
He's in an interview with this dude, I forgot his fucking name, but, and he's, like, you know, talking about how men should be dangerous, and I agree with him 100%. It makes sense to me, like, but I agree with, like, probably 90% of what Jordan Peterson says. And he talks about basically being a dangerous dangerous individual, but yet being able to withhold that, you know, like, being able to restrain that.
Because there may come a time in your life when you do need to have that ability.
Yeah.
Like Sean talks about, like, if somebody walks in your house right now with a gun and says he's going to kill your family, like, are you dangerous enough to stop that from happening?
Yeah, exactly. Or are you fat lard sitting on your fucking couch and you can't even get up fast enough to do anything about it? Or, you know, you're scared of guns or whatever, so you don't allow them in your household and shit like that. But the reason I fucking kind of wanted to talk about this today, because I was like, just going through, and I feel like this happens every year, because I remember when we went out with Justin, like, I don't know, 3 years ago, and I was talking about all the beta males. We were sitting on that fucking bench, and then Justin is like, I'm supposed to help all those individuals, you know. I'm like, fuck those motherfuckers. Do you remember? We went out for New Year's Eve. It was a long time ago. Yeah. Basically, I shouldn't put the beta males down. Because I'm like, look at all these fucking pussies. They're all, like, in their swag shit, and, you know, like, they're just fucking stupid. They're children, essentially. They're men they're children that got stunted, and now they just, like, act like forever boys, you know. So, and to a degree, I was there to some degree, you know, not to the point where a lot of these guys are at, but.
Well, and I think, because we go out on New Year's Eve, so we went out last night. And I think it's like whenever we do choose to go out, we see that. And it's not like a judgment. It's just like that is the fact of like what is present for the majority of people.
Well, fucking right off the bat, for like when they first pulled the tables away and we stood over by the little fucking pillar. Toxic masculinity right there. Fucking boy fucking bullshit. And I'm not one to like start anything. So I was just observing, they were handling it. I'm not gonna fucking take that power away from them as,
Right.
They can do it. Now if they start he starts like getting really pushy, then I would step in.
So for context, we were standing there's a group of like 4 or 5 girls, and then all of a sudden this guy comes up and he's like, you can tell he's like pretty drunk or he's something, like he's just slurring, he's annoying,
Stupid.
he's like not belligerent but like close, and he's just saying stupid stuff to them, like I can hear it. He's like, how much do I have to pay to get all of you? And they're like pissed because like a couple of them are just trying to ignore him, and then one girl is like, go over there, like get the fuck away, go over there.
Yeah.
And he kept saying just stupid stuff like, I like girl on girl on girl, and like we're standing here
literally like
next to it, and I'm like, oh my god, like he like just comes out of nowhere, like, and is saying all these like super inappropriate, like unnecessary things, and I was like, dude, it's getting my heart rate like beating. So I'm like, what the heck? And yeah, so we were just standing there and saying, like you were saying, like, because part of me was like, should you say something? Should you step in? But
yeah.
Like I said,
and
like
I was
you
making
said,
it a point that I was watching. Like
right.
I made it very obvious to the girls and to him that I was watching. Like I made eye contact with him. I made eye contact with them. Like I was not involved, but I was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was, if something had to be done, then like I was right there to fucking step in. But I don't want to take away their power. And then I also don't want to start something bigger than what it is, because he was just being annoying at that point.
Right. And like I said, like you said too, like they were handling, like she was like, go, like get away. And then he did eventually like leave.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But again, like super toxic. Like I don't know.
And that's because like he can't get fucking pussy, and he's not, like no woman wants him really, because he was out of shape. He's probably fucking broke. He's belligerent, He's probably ignorant as fuck. Well, clearly. But like, and then he has to turn to that to I don't know, feel like a man, or like I don't know. I don't exactly understand 100%. But I mean, it's example after example. Like these guys are wearing fucking jerseys and caps and shit like that, and they're just like, I don't know. It's just. And
again, I want to come at this too, is like, we're not judging, because I think there's also like some cultural pieces, and if like that's really you, like cool, do it up. But I can like sense, and you probably can too, like that's why this has come up, that like that's not authentic. Like this is, and that's what I said. I was like, I feel like so many people are playing like a character, like a role. Like you can just tell it's not authentic. And then, I mean, in general, that goes for women that were there too. Like it's not just the guys, but in terms of like looking at the toxic masculinity piece.
Yeah. And part of the problem is obviously the mainstream media is pushing this type of behavior, and then you have the women who basically kind of want to take over the male. I don't even think they really want to. I think they're being pushed to take over the male role, essentially. You know what I mean?
Saxony talks about, like, she showed up super masculine, like, in ways in her life because couldn't rely on men to show up in that role, and so was, like, forced to take that on because no man in her life would or was.
Yeah, and masculine energy should just be masculine energy regardless of whether you're married or not in a relationship or relationship. You need to just hold that space as far as being able to be a man,
And I guess that makes me think about, like, again, going kind of back to the energies, because even as a woman, I can have, I don't think I would call it toxic necessarily, but maybe, but like unhealed, wounded masculine.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I agree.
But again, in terms of like looking at like outward.
Yeah. Women, and I made a Facebook post about this. Women are accepting this though, and that's my biggest fucking issue. Like, not only are men doing this, then on the other hand, because it'd be one thing if men are just doing that and women are like, no, like they're not receptive to this behavior, But the problem is women are allowing this to happen. Like, what the fuck? Like, they won't hold out for somebody that will actually respect them and take care of them and love them and, you know, all this other shit.
So much of that comes back to trauma and wounds, though.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Like, it's not this just like, I'm super healed, but I'm just gonna take this, like...
Yeah, but they have to accept the responsibility, whatever the reason is. You know, like, because it's so fucking...
I mean, accountability, obviously.
It's so toxic.
But to that point, I think I brought this up a little bit, like, those behaviors, like you're saying, are being reinforced. Like, there is no reason for somebody who's in a, like, toxic man to change the behavior if it's being accepted and reinforced. And
exactly, yeah. So, you know, as a man, you shouldn't be fucking doing this shit anyways. Behaving like a child. And when I say that, because I made a post and I, like, thought about it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to fucking run it. Because down the line, I'm going to sound like a hypocrite, right? I'm going to say we should all be children-like, which I do believe. But not in the negative aspects of being a child, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, there's a difference between being playful and being immature.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. So, you know, like, I'm thinking of, like, men playing video games and men watching porn and men not being in shape and men not taking care of their finances and men not being a protector. You know, like, when you walk around with me, you pretty much always know, like, you don't have anything to fucking worry about. Like, I will fucking take care of it. And, like, you can tell, like, typically I don't get any flack from any dude. Like, I respect them, I make a point to fucking respect them and shit like that. There's been a few times where, like, these little dweebos will fucking harass me for whatever reason, you know, like last year. Mm-hmm. But, you know, again, I didn't engage, I didn't, you know, fucking pursue. I could have been all egotistical, like beating my chest, like, fuck you, what are you fucking looking at? But that doesn't fucking help anything. So, yeah, I forgot where I was going with that.
Just the fact, like, the protective piece is, I think, a big piece of that, like, when we're together, like, I'm not worried about.
Yeah, you should be at ease, pretty much at all times, you know.
And not to say that you don't have toxic masculinity traits still, like, you're not.
Everybody does.
Right, like.
Yeah, I'm not perfect.
But there are aspects of it that you do have nailed down, like, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I used to be, like, extremely addicted to porn, which we can get into in another episode. But that alone is a super toxic behavior. And that's programmed a lot of my fucking, you know, preconceived things about sex and how it should be and all this other stuff and what I like and what I don't like and all this shit because I got addicted to sex or addicted to porn at such a young age. So, but the thing is, like, I took time. It took years. I was probably watching porn at, like, fucking 5th grade, I'm guessing. And then all the way through right before we got married, which was, 26?
Years old?
Yeah.
You were 25.
25?
You had, like, just turned a couple months before that.
So, you know, like, 5th grade, how old are you in 5th grade? Fucking 10?
10, 11, yeah.
That's 15 years of neural pathways being taken care of, or embedded in me. And I was okay with it for a really long time. But eventually you have to put away the childish shit and fucking, like, step up to the plate. Like, okay, this is not healthy for my relationship. This is not healthy for my mind. This is, you know, like, it's not a productive thing. So, and same thing with video games. And I'm not saying, you know, I'm talking about the extreme, you know. Right. So, you know, if you want to play here and there and whatever else, but it's the fucking... There's so many man children in this society today. It's fucking embarrassing. It's like, Jesus Christ, like, you know, like, I only saw a few, like, actual men at that fucking bar. You know, the one that was talking about fighting or whatever, he was funny.
He was like a Rip person, so if you watch Yellowstone, you know who Rip is.
And that's a great fucking point too. Like, look at him. Like, women want strong masculinity. There's no doubt in my mind that that's what women need and that's what women want. Every single woman wants somebody to fucking, like, take that masculine role so they don't have to, you know, worry about things and shit like that. Because, like, look at the books women read. Look at the fucking movies women watch, you know, like, they fucking watch all this, like, 50 Shades of Grey, dominant, masculine, blah, 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 you know, like, And Rip, like, everybody loves Rip because he's like, you know, this fucking, well, he's good looking, but he's like how he handles Beth and how he responds to Beth, and like he's very masculine, and you know, like he has toxic behaviors too, but like overall he's like the full package type of guy, you know what I mean? Same thing with these fucking books, you know, like all these like lover books, like women love romanticism.
Romanticism?
Yeah, is that a word?
I think so. It's like a period, a literate.
Fuck down. Get down.
So rude. She doesn't need all that. Sit.
So, yeah, it's just interesting to watch. And it's just like so crazy to me that like society's turning this. And you can go into this beta male thing for years in the past, and we might have talked about like the programming or whatever. Like if you look at Everybody Loves Raymond, or you know Homer Simpson, or King of Queens, you know, and all, I don't even know all the fucking shows that are now on TV, but like all these people are just like, or all these men are like stupid, and they have to have the women take care of them because they don't fucking know shit, and they don't, you know, like. What the fuck? So, it's, you want to pause it?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Doggy duty.
Fucked it up.
Do you do anything with those anyway?
No, but you wanted me to stay or whatever.
Well, we probably have it figured out now, but it was nice because when this did mess up for a little bit, then I would have the...
And we're back.
Okay, so yeah, you're talking about in society. King and Queens, Simpsons.
Yeah.
The stuff that's shoved down our throats.
Yeah, well, it's not even shoved down our throats. That's the fucking sad part. Everybody wants to say this shit's shoved down our throats, but it's really not. It's never shoved down our throats.
I mean, it's
we
obviously
have a choice to watch this shit.
A choice, yes.
Yes. So it's not even fucking shoved down our throats. Like, we can turn the TV off. Oh, you can't shove it down my throat then. You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem. Like, everybody wants to be a victim. Oh, they're fucking shoving it down my throat. They're not shoving it down our throat. They can't shove anything down your fucking throat. That's a fucking false belief, in my personal opinion. You know? I think they can... Well, not even really so. I was like, I think they can shove shit down your kid's throats. But realistically...
Well, yeah, as a parent, you have control.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I think it's more challenging, obviously, to control that compared to yourself. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's fucking sad to see this the way society is going. And some people are like, oh yeah, we're becoming more enlightened and whatever else. And I'm just like looking at fucking shit, and I'm just like.
See, and I do think because just. Words. Sean just this morning said that, like there's an awakening happening, and I do think that exists. Like I do think that more people are waking up, and
I don't know.
I also feel like though, because I'll read books that were from like a long time ago, and people were saying that then.
Yeah.
Like,
But
the power of intention way down.
We can literally just look at this fucking society. We can look at TV shows. We can look at just things that are documented history. You know, like TV shows like Andy Griffith and you know all these other fucking Leave It to Beaver and all this shit, right? We can look at these TV shows. These are documented things throughout the time of history. We can, books and whatever else. And then you can even look at the fact of like the family structure. You know what it looked like back then and what it looks like now. And we can look at people's bodies, particularly men. If you want to look at that, I see those things all the time where it says like pictures of 1970s beach and like that's fucking embarrassing. That is not advancing consciousness. That is fucking stupid. Like it's the majority of fucking the United States is overweight. Like I can probably fucking walk into a room and 9 out of 10 of them are overweight, and then the fucking one is probably not in shape. They're just there. You know what I mean? How often do you see fucking in shape people?
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Fucking damn right you're not. You can't.
I'm just tired.
But anyways, and it's for me, being in the masculine role, right? Which I have toxic traits and characteristics. Everybody does. It's my responsibility to keep us accountable. You know, like us going to the gym. It's my responsibility. You know, like obviously it's your responsibility to follow, but I'm typically always leading the way. You know, 9 times out of 10.
For that, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know, finances and all that shit. You know, it's all on me. You know, and I'm not even saying that has to be a thing. Like because there's
Right.
you know like maybe
That's
it's,
just how
maybe
we
it's
roll.
yeah maybe it's a team thing or maybe it is the female thing. You know, but typically like the females, in my personal opinion, you're not gonna like this, but they need to be taken care of.
Yeah, I don't like that because need to be.
Okay, want
Like-
to be.
Because I do think that women have the ability to take care of themselves. Absolutely.
Sure they do.
So, need
Yeah.
to? No. And I think every woman even is going to be different, just like every man shows up differently in his masculinity. Like,
Yeah.
because I personally, like, do like that. Like, in me,
Most
I
women
think
do.
we've talked about, it's such a generalization.
And I think that women that don't, the majority of the women that don't, are probably damaged.
That's fair, I guess, depending on what kind of like masculinity was modeled for them and
Yeah.
if it was even present, and
Yeah.
that makes sense to me. I'm not 100% agreeing, but it makes sense to me. Yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say.
I was right about
I
everything.
said it makes sense to me. Oh, as far as I don't know, leading the way, following, I don't know, roles. We've talked about this. Like, the way that we do things isn't going to necessarily work for everybody, but in terms of, like, masculine, feminine stuff that we do decide to do, like, it works.
Yeah, for sure. We have our roles that we need to do, and, you know, obviously to each relationship it's going to look different, you know.
Well, it's like a team. Like, you have defense, you have offense, you have the kickers, you have the quarterback. Like, everybody plays their part, and then you come together as a team to make it work, to get the wins, to get the goal. Like,
yeah, for sure. As you know, and I think tasks come to mind for those things. There are things that you know men need to be able to do. They need to. It's not a fucking choice. You need to protect. You need to provide. You need to be able to, you know, be in control of your thoughts and not let them, you know, get to the point of like, you know, rape or, you know, whatever, you know what I mean?
right, or abuse, or...
Yeah, exactly. Men need to be loving and caring and shit like that because they have to, you know, if they have children or, you know, even if they don't have children and, you know, they have a role to play. And so there's a lot of characteristics that men need to have.
I mean...
And I don't think men today, I don't think general society men have those particular roles. They're childish, they're immature, they're fucking stupid.
Well, it's so interesting too because I just, like, when you just said, like, most general society, because when I think of general society, when you say that, I think of, like, the masses. And then there are circles that specifically you're in, but also that I'm, like, aware of and semi a part of that, like, because, like, thinking about Lion's Den, like, there are probably, like, as you would call them, beta males in there, but, like,
100%.
the majority of the men in there are,
Yeah.
I mean, even the women, like, it's just, it's a different, I would not consider them, the majority of them, part of the masses,
Oh,
you
no.
know?
But the thing is, those men that are in there that are beta males that, you know, are fucking fat and broke and whatever else, they join that to help them become what they want to become, you know what I mean? They see they're lacking, because it's not just like I wake up today and I'm just like magically fucking fixed, you know, like, oh, I really need to learn to protect, or I need to really make sure I'm in shape, so, you know, like, my woman wants to fuck me, and, you know, all this other shit. You know, it doesn't happen overnight, but they acknowledge that they're faults, and they're joining these masterminds and getting around people that share, you know, ideas that they want to embody. So then they fucking join the group, and are like, oh, okay, cool, you know, and little by little, day by day, they become more of the man that they want to become, and more of the man that, you know, their kids need, and more of the man that their wife needs, and more of the man that society needs, you know? Like, some of this shit is just so fucking stupid. It's just unbelievable. It's fucking embarrassing, is what it is. So, it is.
For you personally, you feel embarrassed?
Embarrassed for fucking men in society.
Oh, for them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really feel embarrassed, but I should feel embarrassed because, like, this is my, you know, like, we're brothers, you know, like, kind of thing. So, I should be fucking embarrassed. I don't give a shit, though. I just take care of me.
You just say you're embarrassed for shits and giggles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it because that's what I'm supposed to say. But yeah, I thought, it's funny because, like, I'll fucking throw it out there, the Andrew Tate thing, which now he's in trouble for potentially child trafficking or human trafficking or some shit like that.
Yeah, women, not children, but yes.
Whatever, yeah, may or may not be true. I don't fucking know. You never know. That's the problem. You don't fucking know. I have no idea. You know, could it be true? Sure. Could it not be true? Sure. You know, maybe they're just fucking attacking him because they're like, you know, he thinks he's untouchable.
Media, so.
Yeah, he thinks he's untouchable, and they're about to fucking show him a lesson. Like, you ain't untouchable.
And I'm not necessarily sticking up for him because I don't love this man, but
yeah, you do. You agree with so much shit that he says.
The little snippets of like reels that you send me, sure. So 30 seconds of his like hour-long talks, I'm like, okay.
He's a fuckhead, but he's so funny. I like him. I think I don't think he's toxic. You know, I don't think he's toxic at all, personally.
At all?
Well, okay, not at all. I don't think because everybody's toxic. Every dude's toxic to some degree. I think he's less toxic than he's not. Than he is. Fuck.
I guess he.
I think he's good for society. I think he's doing more benefit than harm. 100%.
I don't know.
Because I think
I just have to agree. I don't really. I don't fully know. Like I don't sit there and listen to hours long like conversations that he has, and I don't fully know. But
yeah. Well, for instance, what has he said that you disagree with?
Oh, I'm sure I could find something.
But you can't.
Off the top of my head, that's not how I roll. Yeah. No.
Well, I'm just asking.
I just think, and maybe this isn't even a toxic masculinity thing. I think he tends to just be very egotistical, but
yeah, he's egotistical for sure, 100%. I don't disagree with that. I just don't think I think he's doing a lot more benefit than he is fucking harm to society. Because you know, like he's like the concept. He's like what men deep down want to be. You know, he's in shape. He can fucking. He's a whatever kickboxer. So he's like, you know, high up there as far as, you know, combat. He's got tons of fucking money and cars, and you know, he fucking hangs out with the most beautiful women and all this other shit.
After he beats them. I'm just kidding. That is like my first like exposure to him, but I also don't know the full context of the whole.
Supposedly that's what she liked or whatever. So like.
Yeah, of course your brain's gonna find.
I'm pretty sure she went on statement.
But that's what I mean, like, because I did hear that I think from you, and so like, okay, what happened beforehand? What happened afterhand? Like we see this like 30-second video of this like happening.
Yeah.
Like, if this is like a thing for them and she's consenting to like this is what I want, let's go. Like,
yeah, kind of like you.
That's not even funny. It was. It made me laugh, I guess, but. Not even close.
Shut up, you'll get it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, we need more men to fucking stand up for the fucking shit they believe in and stop being so passive. We need active
We also need men that believe in the right stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure. We just need fucking fathers to be training their children better and, you know, stop fucking sending them off to daycare and public schooling to be fucking brainwashed and let them fucking raise your kids and society raise your kids and mainstream media raise your kids, because then, you know, that's the fucking problem, and that's why I do not want to have kids until like there is a way that I can 100% without a doubt keep them out of all Public, private, I don't give a fuck what kind of school. Like, all of it. At all times. The kid is either with you, me, or someone I trust. That is it. You know? Because then I control...
100% trust.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Like,
because then, that way, you can control everything. The problem with this is, which again, is the man's fault, to a degree, I guess. It is. We went to World War II, right? Went to war, and then the women had to go to work, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like, actually, I think it might have even been earlier than that.
That was just like the biggest movement of it.
That was the biggest transition. It was always being catered in before that, right? But that was the biggest, like, that was the fucking straw that broke the camel's back, essentially. Then the women went to work, the men were off to war, the men came back, the women stayed to work. They got really used to having the double income, and they're like, oh shit, we can really make this work. You know, we're really living the high life. And then they send the kids off to school. Now the government's raising your fucking kids. You have no control over that. You have no control over who they're hanging out with at the end of the day, really, right? Because, you know, fucking, I don't want my kids hanging out with that dumb fuck because he's retarded and his parents are meth heads or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, I don't want him in that environment, having that influence, having that type of shit. I want to control everything my kid sees, hears, and, you know, fucking experiences, basically.
And I understand, too, that, like, as a parent, you can't control it all, but our goal is to control as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because like, we've talked about this. News, TV, social media even, like, just so... It's geared... Bullshit. Yeah, it's not...
And that's the man's role to fucking take care of that shit. It's the man's role to say, hey, listen, I'm going to have, you know, I'm going to produce enough money, which I'm not currently. Like, you know, we basically need your income for the time being at this point in our life. So, you know, don't think that I'm sitting here on my high horse saying that I'm capable of doing what I'm preaching at this very moment. We could, theoretically, right? We could downsize and whatever else, but, you know, like... we could 100% do it. But at this point in our life, like, I think personally that it's a better move for us to do this for a little bit longer and then retire you from work and then, you know, have the kids at home and then with you with the kids at all time or, you know, whoever. And then, fucking, yeah. Like, because then you control your kids at all times and what's going into their brains and how they're being basically programmed. So, and again, that's the man's responsibility to make sure that that's happening because he is the leader, you know. And whether you're biblical or not, it's a biblical thing. Like the man is the head of the household, and there's a reason for that. I think the Bible has incredible wisdom in it. That needs to be reflected on because if you go back to a lot of that wisdom and those standards, we wouldn't be as dysfunctional as we are. You know what I mean?
Right. If everybody held themselves to more of those standards, yes. Because then I think about, too, with, like, kind of the household thing. Like, if you have a super toxic man as head of your household, like, that's going to be shit, right? But again, if we go back even beyond that and that point never happens and that man is, like, holding himself to these standards and,
Yeah, so if we get back to the basics, which, you know, like, a lot of biblical stuff is, then I think we would be much better off as a society, you know. And I'm not saying I agree with every single little detail, and I'm not saying that I don't believe that it wasn't altered and whatever else, but, you know, as far as functionality, it's fucking dead nuts. So, how toxic am I on a scale of 1 to 10?
Depends on the day. It really does. There's some... I would never put you above... Wait, so 1 is, like, not very, and 10 is very, very?
Sure.
I would never, even on, like, one of your more toxic days, put you above, like, a 6.5.
6.5? That high?
When you're gaslighting, that's real toxic.
That's not masculine toxic, though.
Oh, that's true.
That's just toxic
true.
in
Okay,
general.
so that's... That's just general toxicity.
Yeah, I'm talking about
okay, that's
masculine toxicity.
Okay.
Way to start our new year.
For real. I need food and I need sleep. So, in terms of toxic masculinity. Okay. I would never put you above 3 popped in my head, so I'm gonna run with that.
Sounds about right. That's what I was running with in my head. So what, as a woman, you know, like, what do you personally want as far as masculine energy in your life?
From you?
No, just anybody. Your father, your brother, a man walking down the street. How would you describe a healthy, man, as far as his masculine energy?
I think, what?
No, go ahead. I was about to start it for you.
Oh, thanks. I think, and I don't know if this is just from being in our roles and how our relationship has unfolded, but like the protection and providing piece. Providing, I think, specifically from you, but even thinking about like my dad, like he provided my entire life. Like we were never without. And so he definitely checked that box. So I guess even outside of like my husband, that fits. I think for me, especially just because I'm like an empath and I love love and all those things, like emotional safety is huge for me. Big for me at least. But also like, not also, it's like in addition to that, like tenderness, care, love, support. And I think also like somebody who's able to, like you've done a really great job of evolving into this, of like being able to stand in your masculine without the abuse piece. Like there are times, or maybe not even recently, but like in years past, like you would hold things over my head or whatever. Like that to me feels like an abuse of that. So like being able, and I know, who is it? Jesse Elder talks about conscious alpha? Or what is that phrase?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about, to be honest. He's talking about gamma because he's not alpha. And
oh, maybe.
He talks about being gamma because he doesn't believe in being alpha.
Maybe, yeah. Because it's like that. There are aspects of alpha that I like, but again, I think there are.
I think alpha has a negative connotation to it.
Right. But like being able to like stand in that, because I do find that for me personally to be what I appreciate. More so, I think I just keep coming back to you. Because like if I think of like my brother, I don't necessarily need him to like, for me to stand in this like.
I would say as a society, like if men started being like this, society would be way better off.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
having like holding space so that women can feel emotionally safe in their presence, providing, supporting, caring, loving. That I also think about like not loyalty, I don't know why loyalty came to my mind, but like if you say you're gonna do something, do it. Like accountability. Stick-to-itiveness came to mind too, like perseverance, that kind of stuff. Some grit, because you're gonna need it.
Especially dealing with you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
But I don't know. Right now, my brain, bro. I was also thinking though, like those are aspects that I think would be super badass for a lot of women to have also. But
yeah, I think like walking around the club last night or whatever you want to call it, bar. Like I felt more dominant knowing that, because a lot of guys were like fucking pulling shenanigans on the chicks and shit like that, and like grabbing their butts and you know what I mean, and just doing stupid shit, and I felt, you could say, superior almost. Like
you usually do.
No, knowing that like, you know, I'm beyond that bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like if some chick fucking came over and was like, this guy just fucking, fucking tried to rape me or some shit like that, they could come to me and I would not have like this fucking, what is that word? Fucking ulterior motive. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna fucking just whatever her, console her so I can touch her. What, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You kind of, so, like, I was interesting. So, I don't know, each year it gets a little more and more and more and more and more. So I think I get deeper in my masculine and in my own confidence every year, especially being around people like that. And I don't know if it's like me getting better. I'm sure there is some truth to that, or if it's them society getting worse. You know what I mean? Like, because even if you think of Rick, like, like you just look at, like, he's a bad motherfucker. Like, they built him to be a bad motherfucker on purpose. And like, he is a lot what masculinity should look like.
Especially because he like has that other piece of like the tenderness and the softness.
He's
and,
a fucking savage killer motherfucker, and then he's a tender, loving, caring guy.
And
you know what I mean?
With this girl.
Yeah. Well, even yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess not even, because he's not as tender with like the cowboys and stuff, but you can tell he like cares and is like.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Like that's quality. I think they represent quality masculinity, and I think that's why people love them. Because like, if you fucking go on there, every woman loves them.
There's posts all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
we're like seeing that guy last night with his hat on or whatever. I'm like,
yeah.
That's like real.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. So he wanted me as his partner.
It was so funny because he like looked at you and he was just like. He said something about the way you look.
Fight somebody?
Well, no, right away he said something about the way you look, and he was like, "I like you."
Yeah. I like those compliments. I like fucking savages or a king recognizes king, kind of thing. Like that guy was a bad motherfucker. Like at the end of the day, like he was respectable. Like you could just tell. Yeah, like he was fucking quality. And then you got all these little fuckboys around. A little faggot, and that's why I think you want to go fight somebody. I was like, oh yeah, maybe later.
I remember hearing him say like, "And you want to fight with me?" He's like, "Not against me, with me."
Yeah. Oh, he's funny, and that happens like literally every year. There's somebody last year that fucking said basically something real similar. Oh, it's fun. I enjoy that. Because I'm like, when I go to those like things, I feel like I'm a league of my own almost. You know what I mean? And maybe it's just fucking me being in my head or whatever, but that's all I need. So, oh, fuck. Oh, anyways, there's a toxic masculinity.
Yeah, a little bit.
Cool. Well, let's fucking wrap this shit up. Happy New Year, motherfuckers. 2023.
Weird.
Lots of things ahead. Dude, they go by fast. They go by faster and faster. Just a blip.
It's because you're not mindful. Who said that? David, I think. Like when people say, and it's, yeah. Because I get it. Like if I look back on this year, like, whoa, that did happen really fast. And I am probably more mindful in general than a lot of people. So like, but my year still went by really fast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, here we go. Good way to start off the year. Kind of. I'm not feeling too bad for going out last night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tired and I need some food, but.
Yeah.
And I'm a little like slow and whatever, but not bad.
Yeah. But at least we got our podcast going on. First day of the year, kickoff, and I feel like it was a really good one. So, dope. All right. Like us on Instagram, Facebook.
Follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
If you enjoyed the podcast, feel free to share it. And if you think someone needs to see it or hear the message, then definitely share it with them. So.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, we obviously don't have it all figured out and perfect, and this is just kind of... This is like our perspective and just sharing from our perspective. I don't know.
Yeah, tell us how smart or stupid you are.
thought you were gonna say we are. Tell us how smart or stupid we are.
Well, Robert Kiyosaki talks about intelligence, and he's like, you're intelligent if you agree with me. It's like, that's his definition of intelligence. It's like, I like
toxic.
that. What's that?
Oh, I said that feels toxic.
Well, it's not. Robert Kiyosaki, you listen to a decent amount of Robert Kiyosaki. He's not toxic at all, I don't think.
He's like also partly joking, but
Partly.
partly. That's what I said. Partly.
Alright, we're off. See you guys later.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.